Hi everyone, my name is McCall Long, and I am going to briefly discuss my three art artifacts that I chose for the gallery, which was week 2, week 6, and week 8 of our modules. Week 2 was Who Are We, and I chose Gordon Parks' I Am You. Week 6 was School at What Cost, and I did a photograph by John N. Choate. And week 8 was Got Culture, and I chose the video that had the picture of the representation, the photograph that, or the artwork that Shepard Fairey did. And so it's called We Are the People. Oh yeah, We Are the People. So for my first art artifact, which was I Am You, I chose that to connect it to equity and education, because it takes all of us to make a difference in the systems that hold us back to have our basic needs met, our basic necessities, our housing rights, our voting rights, our educational rights. You know, back in 1963 when this was published, the big thing was civil. I'm getting nervous. Civil. It was. I'm getting tongue tied here, but it was basically civil rights. It was a civil rights movement. That's what I'm trying to say. And with that, that picture showed a collective community of whites and blacks coming together, mixed emotions, some agreeing with the rally. Like, yeah, I could only just imagine what the rally was about. But we pretty much can have an idea. Just basic needs met, and that we know that the system was never designed for us to have equity in anything. We were always redlined. We were always held back. We were always separate. So the motto for back then was separate but equal. But how is that? When I still get treated less than, I have to go through a back door to get into a store, or I can't be seen with a white person. So it was never about equality. It was just something to pacify us, to say, okay, well, we'll give you with that, but we got to keep everything separate. That's not equality, and it's not equity at all. And our school system still weren't the best. And then what they did was, once the Brown versus Board was overturned, they basically was like, well, we'll just create tests that keep them out of our schools, that we will still be separate and segregated. And so that picture just shows that when we come together as a community, it takes all of us, and we can create the change and equity that we need. For my second, I'm sorry, guys, I have children. I apologize. It's hard, y'all. I Okay, so my second photograph was done by John N. Choate, and it was a before and after. It was taken in 1882, and it is a photograph of a Native American boy who had to he was basically shipped off to a Carlisle Industrial School, where it shows him in his native gear and his native apparel, his culture. He wore it proudly because it was his identity. And within 3 years, he had a haircut. He looked lighter. He actually even looked like a little fatter in the picture. Like, their diet is even different than what Americans eat. And so basically I chose that because it was like school at what cost. Like, when children go to school, they have to forget who they are, where they come from, just to assimilate. So I took from that, it's like assimilation equals, you're part of us and you're like us, but different is what make the world go round. And I think that stripping children of their identity, their culture, is who they are. And when you forget who you are, you don't know where you're going. And so I chose that one, and it connected with our readings with Gorski and Brookings. And it's just sad that even today schools do the same thing. You're not embraced for being who you are. You are more embraced for being like us, and that's not cool. That's not equity at all. So that's why I chose that. And then my third photograph was We Are the People, and I found it's like a mini, like a probably 4 to 5 minute documentary about Shepard Fairey and two other artists that decided to create different murals around the city. And this was done in 2017. And the woman has an American flag hijab, and it says, "We are the people. We're nothing to be feared." And I think ignorance breeds fear. And again, there we go, stripping children, stripping people of their culture just to appease the system, appease the racist people that want to continue to hold you down and hold you back. And it happens in school because for that culture, the children who talked about Native Americans and how they felt when they got to school, they felt like nothing, and that's not equity at all. And just these three artifacts really just highlighted that we need collective. We're all one. We need to work together. And it showed me that also I'm one person, but I have autonomy in my classroom, my future classroom. And if the hierarchies don't want to see, it's hard to face the truth. And sometimes showing people the truth, it is harsh, and they don't want to accept it and change. I can be the change in my classroom with culturally relevant pedagogy, and just making sure that every child is really seen and really heard, because when they're heard, you see the change, because then they're like, man, my teacher understands. My teacher heard me. They heard my parents. And it goes a long way. So that's it, y'all. Thank you for your time.